All right. It's it's the same old book we're reading. We're in chapter 15 right now, and it's pretty much just talking about believing in the power of letting your light shine. It's it's just saying that there's power in letting your light shine. A lot of people tend to dim their light. I put my name Sentakin, they're great. There are a lot of religious people that don't like that. They rather say, why don't you say Sentakin the humble? They're so conscious of that you are elevating yourself, that it sounds like humility, but it's not humility. It's called lack of self-esteem. It's a lack of self-image. It's a poor self-image. When you start being focused on things like that. There are some things that you have. It doesn't, you're just that. Just to say that my name is Aki is not boasting, right? You get my point?
Yes.
Yeah. So some people are scared of saying who they are. Because if people say about me, who do you think I'm boasting? Oh, maybe I'm this, I'm this. But the same people are very ready to tell you about the woes and bad things that have happened to them. Oh, I lost money. Oh, I'm this. It's easier to talk about negative things than to talk about positive things for them. And that is not godly. That's devilish, right? Because when you're talking about the woes, you're not glorifying God. What is there to glorify God about the fact that I'm poor? I cannot feed. Oh, my child is sick. Our fallen nature is more easily attuned to talking about negative things and talking about positive things, right? Religion has made us think that when good things happen to us, we're not good, we're not religious, we're not heavenly. We're more heavenly when we talk about bad things happen to us. It's like we're glorifying what the devil is doing, and we're ashamed of what God is doing. That does not help the people around us. Right? Because when you are shedding darkness, people only become more attuned to darkness. People are going deeper into darkness than coming to light. Because don't forget that it's what you see that you become. If all I show people is darkness, they can never see the light. They can never come into the light. They will always be forever lost in darkness. Because you cannot become what you cannot see. Right? That's what we say that if you can see the invisible, then you can have the impossible. But if you cannot see the invisible, you cannot have the impossible, right? If all you see is darkness, then darkness is what will envelop you, because you will produce after what you see. So that tells you how ungodly, unheavenly it is to glorify bad things than to glorify good things. If God has done something good for you, say it. Because if God can do it for you, it means He can do it for someone else also. If it's possible for you, then it can be possible for someone else, right? The general example we give is about the 1 mile, right? Up to a certain point, nobody could break that barrier of being able to run. I think it's either 5 minutes or so, or whatever time it was to break the 1 mile barrier. It was seen as something that was impossible. Medical people said it was impossible because nobody had ever broken that barrier before. Until one man made up his mind that I am going to break this barrier, right? He wanted to break the barrier. And he eventually did. And when he did, a lot more people broke it. Even people that were young, amateurs, all of that, broke it. Only because one person broke it. Because once he broke it, it became something that was possible. People could see it in their realm of possibility. Right? So that messaging goes into their subconsciousness such that their whole body, their whole system calls everything it needs to break it. But when you think you cannot break it, the messaging you are giving to your subconsciousness is it is not possible. So your subconsciousness will just relax. You are telling your subconsciousness, don't even try it. Right? Because you are saying it's not possible. Your subconscious, if you believe it, your subconscious is your prophecy fulfilling part of you. Whatever you say is possible, your subconscious will say yes. Because your subconsciousness, don't forget, it's a dummy, right? It's the most powerful part of you, but it's a dummy. You will always believe whatever you tell it that is true. If you tell your subconsciousness that you're a woman, everything about you will just become woman. Everything you see will be woman.
That's true.
Right? Because that's just the way your subconsciousness is made. It's made to obey your command.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So if someone says, and that's what we talk about when we talk about self-efficacy, right? Self-efficacy is the belief in yourself that you can handle the details of your life, right? If you believe that you're not efficacious, your subconscious will say, yes, it's true. I cannot do anything. It will not rise to the occasion of life, right? So this is one of the things top athletes do to meet up to the challenge of what they are entering into, right? Top athletes, top performers, right? Because when you are about to go to the stage, butterflies appear in your stomach. Your heartbeat goes up. It happens to every single person. But what differentiates top performance from ordinary people is this. They reframe that occurrence. Because most people will say, oh, I'm being anxious, so hope I will do it. Oh, it's like my body is saying, what top athletes say to themselves is that, wow, my whole body is rising to the occasion. Wow, my body is ready to do this thing. I'm all excited about it. They reframe what is happening in their physical body, right? They don't interpret it as an hindrance to what they're about to do. They interpret it as an enhancement to what they're trying to do. So that messaging goes into their subconscious mind that, wow, we're ready to do something great. So their whole body rises to the occasion. That feeling that happens to everybody, that it becomes an hindrance to them, is not an hindrance to these top athletes because of the way they interpreted the feeling in their body. Right? And those are just the reason why it's important, to be able to speak about the light that you have, shed your light, And there's one important. All right, this is this quote here by Marilyn Williamson. This was made popular by Nelson Mandela. Nelson Mandela, as he came into power, quoted this. So this was made so popular. Talks about that our deepest fear is not that we're inadequate. That is not our deepest fear. That's why we talk about people having fear of success, right? It's not fear of failure. It's fear of success. It's if I succeed, will I be able to handle it? Will my friends still like me? Right? So he said our deepest fear is not that we are adequate. It's not that we are inadequate, right? It says our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. Yeah. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. Right?
Yeah.
So it says we ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant? So because and that comes from not having a good self-esteem of yourself, right? Or having a wrong self-image. So, I don't deserve it. Oh, I come from this village. I come from that village. I've not done anything right. I'm not a pastor. So why should I deserve this? And when you start saying that to yourself, you are messaging your subconscious mind, right? If you say it long enough, your subconscious mind will work against you, that you will lose everything. Because you are saying subconscious mind, don't keep it. You were saying something, go ahead.
No, I'm saying that when we tell it our subconscious mind, it will imprint it, and then it becomes our reality.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because whatsoever you tell your subconscious mind to do, it will go out to make it come to pass. As your subconsciousness is beyond your body, is universal. It's able to message to people in Russia, in London. It's a universal being. All right? The whole of your mind is universal. It's a transmitting station. Right? It's able to connect with people in places beyond where your physical body can go to. Right? So once you start telling your subconscious mind that, it begins to send waves, transmitting waves all out on your behalf. And you will attract exactly the message. Right? So And when you don't have a good self-esteem, and when some of these people that stay on pulpits that have no clue what life is, they start telling you, oh, it's good to be poor. Oh, you have to be this. Hey, if you don't have too much money, you might sin. You are this. I mean, they have no clue. They have zero experience of life. All they make money from is offering, right? So, and they're not able then to help you because you can only give what you have, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it says, actually, who are you not to be, right? The real thing is, who are you not to be brilliant? Who are you not to be gorgeous? Who are you not to be talented? Who are you not to be fabulous? Right? And the reality is the place will tie it to the way God created us. God created us to be all of these things. Right? In Psalm 8, the Bible tells us that God created us a little lower than himself. Because the translation of that word where it says angel is Elohim. God created us a little lower than himself. Right? The Bible says we fell from that place of glory. Right? We fell to a place where we are seemingly below angels, but we were above angels in the original creation. Right? God gave us authority over everything. And angels were going up and coming down to earth. God gave us authority over everything. He made us a little lower than the angels. In our original creation state, we are above the angels. Right? That's why God did not even mention the devil when he was creating. The devil was there. The devil saw everything God was doing. And God did not put man at the risk of the devil, because God made man above the devil himself. God did not have to concern himself about the devil. But we lost all of that, right? When we committed treason against God, right? But the reality is that we deserve the very best. We deserve glory, because that is what God created us to be. And that's where God wants to take us back. So there's nothing wrong in we becoming the very best. It's not a sin. It's not something above us. It's just a place we should get comfortable at being. And only when we get comfortable at being that can we truly attract it, right? Because when we get comfortable at it, then we're sending a message into our subconscious mind to go out and cause it to come to us, right?
That's true.
And when we share the same light of the adventures we're having, the success we're having, the wins we're having in our own life, other people are able to gain their own light in our own light. People cannot gain light from our darkness, right? Where our fallen nature is more attuned to tell people about how bad things are. How bad things are only make that person become bad. But when you tell them about what God has done, what success, what breakthrough you have had, they also say, if it can happen to you, it can happen to me.
Yeah.
Right? So they're able to see their light in your light. And that's what life is supposed to be. Right? So Jaime in the book was just talking about our own example, right? And she says she's bold and fearless and in a lot of things, but then she was uncomfortable in talking about her success. Why? Pretty much because of the way she grew up, the way she was taught, right? And I relate very much to this because I come from a conservative family, right? A mother that was so conscious about teaching us respect, right? She was so conscious about respect. Ooh, hey, you must call brother. Oh, uncle. Oh, you cannot talk about. My father was more like, hey, you have to be careful. You have to be kind to people. And on an ordinary level, that's okay. But there's a place where you take it to another extreme that it begins to hinder your life, hinder your progress. Right? It's okay on an ordinary level. But when you do too much of it, you hinder your progress. You know, have a time challenge relating with people that are younger than me, you know. And first thing is I'm just already assuming they are older than me, right? Because of just the way I grew up, right?
Yeah.
It's like, you know, we're even going to, before I got married, my wife took me to one of our friends' place. I'm already calling the friend Ma, you know, all of that. right? It's just a natural reflection of the way I grew up.
That's the way I was brought up to, tell people ma, sir, irrespective of whether they are younger or older than me. I can give you an example. Like my mom, if she comes to your place, I mean, she's gone, so she's not going to come.
Yeah.
Okay, I would really wanted to speak Igbo to you. She will greet you with good answer,
Yeah.
She's very older than you.
Yeah.
And we took after. She also feels so bad when, but just me younger than her. You face of greed before you start asking for and that's how she taught us to always interaction. Any favor. But
and there's nothing wrong in doing that. The problem is when it goes to the other extreme. Great. There's nothing wrong in respecting. There's something wrong if that respect is hindering your progress. That's where there's a challenge. So, like we always say, the devil is in the advert. The devil is in the extreme. God is not in the extreme. God is just God. Respect for God is respect. There's no too much respect, too low respect. It's being able to respect and respect out of your heart, not out of fear, right? Like I was sharing 2 days ago. There are two ways or two reasons why we do anything that we do. Either do it out of fear or out of pleasure, self-interest, or what you might call faith. Right? Anything that is done out of fear never ends well. It comes from a place of imprisonment, a place of bondage, a place of enslavement, a place of something that you have to do, not something you want to do. And the only offering God receives is the one that comes from you want to do it. You are doing it from your heart, not because you feel that, if I don't do it, I'm happy, I'll commit sin. They will not like me. They will punish me. God does not receive the offering, right? God only receives the offering that comes from a pure heart, that you give because you want to, not because your pastor says you should give it, but because you chose to give it, right? That's the only offering God receives, right?
So how do you relate some of these stuff to the pastors that wouldn't mind wherever the money comes from, even if it's fraudulent money, even if it's stolen money and all that, because I really feel bad about some of those.
Yeah, the challenge, James Allen put it this way, that the oppressor and the oppressed are partners together in oppression.
Mm-hmm.
If there's no oppressed, there cannot be an oppressor.
Okay.
It takes people available to be oppressed for there to be an oppressor. They are both suffering. The oppressed are suffering, and they are seeing the oppressor as their solution. So the oppressor is feeding something inside of them, so they are comfortable with the oppressor. The oppressor also is suffering. He cannot control himself. There's something inside of him that being oppressing other people is feeding. Right? So both of them are partners in oppression. They are both equally guilty and equally wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And any of the two can decide to break the circle of oppression.
Yeah.
Because every person that go to those churches have everything it takes to go and read the Bible themselves. They have everything it takes to ask God directly, God, is this the way you want me to follow?
We don't have
choose not to.
We don't have the time.
Everybody has equal 24 hours in a day. They choose not to have the time. They do not see it as priority.
That's true.
Right. So both the pastor and those that are misled are guilty. Before God, they are partners in crime. God will not hold one more guilty than the other.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're each responsible, we're each human being. we're each answerable to God. There's no excuse before the judgment throne. There's no, oh, it was my church that made me do it. Oh, it was my pastor. Oh, it was because of this. Before the judgment throne, you decided to.
Yeah, I can't remember one of the stuff I read lately. The man said the reason why he pregnated his daughter, it was the devil that led him. And I'm kind of, when are we going to learn that devil does not exist? We actually the instrument that convert ourselves to be usable, and at the end of the day, end up calling out something that either does not exist or is just a mechanism by which we kind of exhibit our true selves.
Yes. Yes. I mean, it's not true that it's not the devil, because he was doing it not once, not twice, not thrice.
The devil will tell him to go and do it.
Yes. So he's only now calling the devil because he has been caught. If he's not caught, he will continue doing it.
Mm-hmm.
So it cannot be the devil. Maybe the devil might have tempted you one time, maybe. But not all the time you're doing it. Now, when you are caught, you now say it's the devil.
Look, we need to stop calling devil. I why I'm saying it. I'm not saying that devil doesn't exist in absolute sense. What I'm saying is we do things because we want to do it. It has nothing to do with devil.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The way God sees it, every action you take is something you chose to do.
Exactly.
That's why God will judge you without any excuse. Before God, whatsoever you have done, you have chosen to do it.
That's what happens in the organizations where we work, where they talk about accountability, responsibility, and accountability.
Yes. 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 So to continue here, it says, so she continues in the book. All right. It says that it's so important to believe that your victory, everything that you get, your light, like I said, people can find their light in your light. I mean, when you succeed, that someone, for example, from your village, that young boy from your village now sees that it's possible for someone from my village to succeed. When you succeed in your family, that young boy in your family says, you mean our family is not cursed? If Uncle Chidi can succeed, me too, I can succeed. Right? People find their victory, they find their light in our light. So, like we typically would say, no obedience is permanent. Every obedience affects another life. In the same way, no disobedience is permanent. Every disobedience is affecting another life. Right? When you see a pastor or the person you're talking about did that crime, someone has just lost faith. You mean it's not possible to hold myself? Someone just lost faith. When someone has a victory, someone just gained faith. Right? None of us lives in isolation. Everything we do is affecting someone that's looking up to us, whom we might never meet.
That's true. Yes, true. Absolutely right.
So therefore, if for no other reason, let's live our life because of that one person somewhere who's looking up to us, and their destiny is affected and dependent on our own destiny. And I took this one off another write-up. Just talks about the need to shine our light.
To the goodness and glory of God, as we shine our light, let us God to continually show us how best to shine, so we could be beacon of His life-changing.
I mean, when hope is light, right? It's just like me. I went through depression this last time, but one of my aburos, one of my mentees, said, because I could go through it and come back to life, he is confident that if anything like that ever happens to him, he will also come back to life.
Amen.
Because people are looking at you. They're taking their cue for life from you. So that gives me strength that even if this ever happens to me, if this my mentor I'm looking up to is able to come through it, then I too can come through it. That's the beauty of shedding our light.
You know what you're saying is it takes strength to do what you do. You mentioned when you were depressed, when a lot of people don't share this, and I can tell you, we do some certain things, even when we made mistakes. There's a whole lot to learn from this company we are working for. It may not be perfect, but I tell you, it's especially within the region where you and I operate, where there's a whole lot of issues. But I mean, generally there is. So, one of our pastors in our church in Nigeria, he got employed by Central Bank. Very nice job, managerial position, good, what is following the stuff in terms of payment and all that, getting a manager's job in Central Bank. He was so overwhelmed. He wanted to buy a new car and all that. He, when he went to where, this is what we heard, where he's supposed to make what do you call it again? Like a reference letter. He went to the Central Bank reference letter and wrote a letter, and sent. Those people verified the stuff, and it wasn't signed by the people that are supposed to sign it. Plus, he just got it. You know how plane just take off and hit ground, and that was it. And what I expect is when you have this kind of issue, you have younger ones there. You need to come and tell, look, I made this mistake. Is it either is a known mistake I made, or is one I didn't know? But I want you guys to learn that whenever you're doing this stuff, never do it. This is the right way. So that's what I'm saying. That I really like, the way you open your mouth and you say it. The same way Ashley shared his own experience. The same way when Guy Bolaren shared his experience when he just came back and wanted to help somebody and ended up in the hands of all these guys. So people will learn because, and I tell you, the best experience or the lessons learned is the experience of others, because there's some experience that you may get and you will never come back.
Absolutely.
For instance, they will tell you how to identify one chance, because some people have entered one chance and never came back alive because they were pushed out of the vehicle, moving at a very high speed. So anyway, thanks for mentioning.
My pleasure. I may also mention the fact that, being rich is all about being able to impact other people's life. It's not about counting how much you have in the bank. What you have in the bank is useless if you are not touching lives, And Jesus Christ also said this. He said, hey, with your money in this life, make friends unto yourself so that they'll be available to you in eternity, right? Money in this life is not about how much you have in your bank account. It's about making a difference to other people's life. It's how much impact you can make. It's not how much you have in the bank account.
And the impact really matters so much, I had a discussion with a guy, some of us, myself, another guy in our team, another guy from production. So was now relating an experience, something that happened before him. He was working in Shell before he came to our company. So his father was late, or he worked in Shell. And this other guy as well, the father may still be alive, but was also an ex-Shell man. So when they came for their interview and all that, when he mentioned his name, he said, "Are you a son to this man?" He said, "Yes." "Wow, how is he?" He said, "The man is late." The guy kind of cried. That was a good man. The other guy, "Who are you?" He mentioned his name. He said, "Your father?" "Really?" In fact, they told the guy about his father and said, "Unfortunately, we wouldn't want to have that kind of lineage near us." And they didn't take him. So, when you look at what the Bible says about, whether it's wealth or whether it's cost or it lives, I know most times if you believe it, it works for you. If you don't believe it, that's my own way. It doesn't work. But in some sense, in Africa especially, it works. That was how that guy, the way he treated both contractors and employees, reports. I mean, I saw a bit of it in Chevron. I heard about some.
Absolutely.
Most
Yeah,
times,
there are people that are still working against them.
yeah.
There's someone's son in the system that has not been regularized just because of what his father did.
Anyway, this life is not about what you get. Like this thing, it's about the life you impart.
Yeah.
You're a billionaire by imparting billions of lives, not having millions. Look at this company called Amazon. If you ask me today, I will tell you that Amazon is one of the best companies. This guy is dashing people money. He's giving people free money. What do I mean by that? You open up, if you go into Amazon Logistics, they'll provide you virtually everything you need. You know, they start you up to stand and run, not to fail.
Yeah.
So how many companies do that?
Yeah. I mean, there are several ways in which they do that, and it's all about giving back, you know. And the law of sowing and reaping, it's always true. It never fades. It never goes old. You know, it's what you give, you get back. You know, it's so the way to life, the way to growth, the way to riches, the way to increase is the way of giving, the way of generosity. I mean, it's always been, it is, and will ever be. That's just the way God rules. You know. It's not about chasing after money. It's not about chasing after happiness. You know, it's just about making it happen for other people. You know?
Yeah.
So it's like you make it happen for other people, then God makes it happen for you.
No, I believe that God has a good plans for us, and if not for our greed and all that, that is what is keeping my country. The country I take as number one, keeping it down because of greed, because of
selfishness, ethnicity, religiosity, all of that's tied up with greed.
So, but do you know, people think that a certain set of people that they are retaining power is because they are strong. No, it's fear that drives them. If you don't have fear, look at what they say about love. When you love something, you set it free.
Absolutely.
And the only time you know that it's actually yours is when it comes back.
Absolutely.
So if you know you're strong, you keep your hands open and see how things will go. But in as much as you are afraid, that's why you hold it both with your teeth, leg, and hands, and never to allow it to go. But I pray we'll practice what we preach.
Amen. Oh, amen. That's the only way we get to eat of the fruit of our labor, you know. God is not mocked. The Bible says, whatsoever a man sows, that's what he's going to reap. Life will only respond to you the way you respond to life. So there's no two ways around it. It has nothing to do with making noise. It has nothing to do with fasting. It has everything to do with sowing and reaping. You know, that some people think it's by making noise, but it's not. There are simple principles, you know, that work. You know, so when you tap into those principles, then you don't have to do manual labor.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah, impact life. That's good.
So that's the last slide on that.
Entrepreneur is person who positively impact the billion lives. And talking about this billionaire is not actually in monetary terms.
Absolutely.
Monetary terms.
There's the other supposed billionaire that died in Lagos. He had money, but he didn't have people. They couldn't get him a bed. That's how he died. But he was a billionaire. He had a lot of Rolls Royce, but they couldn't get him a bed. That's how he died. I mean, your money is useless. What you need is people. People are your riches.
So there is this man that died some time ago. I don't know whether when I was in secondary school, I grew up knowing that the man has a hotel and all that. So when this guy passed away, they were to bury him. Then, anyway, when he was alive, he was known to be quarreling with his community, goes to court with the community and all that. So when he died now, they've dug, you know, usually it's the community that the youth will now dig the grave and all that. So when they dug the stuff out, the elders, some of them, they came and they're like, because the man is big and tall and huge, you can understand. The elders looked at the grave and said, no, this thing is too small. They should widen it. Everybody like, this thing will enter now. They said, no, they should widen it, go left, They say no, they write as well. The thing was kind of bogus now, just done with. So one of the others said now that the reason why they wanted it to be expanded is so that the guy's house and his property can have a side where they could be buried with him as well. Since that was what he held so much.
True, yeah.
And then let him go with his.
Let him die with it. Absolutely. And that's the same thing we say about some people that just left Chevron, right? I mean, they live their life as if they would never leave. And it was more like, why did you carry Chevron with you to retirement? Wisdom is knowing that life has a terminal date.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't know that, then you don't have wisdom. That's why the Bible says, teach us to number our days, or apply our hearts unto wisdom. Right? Everything has terminal dates, whether it's your work at a place of employment, everything, Heraclitus tells us that everything will change except change itself.
Except change itself,
So that gives us wisdom. So that means that whatever we're doing, let's make the best of it, because for a season.
Yeah, so thank you very much. I think it was really enriching, and I tried to get the verse. I couldn't remember what it said. As a man is led the countenance, sharpen the countenance of the brethren. Which is it? Proverbs 19:20. What's it?
I'll search it for you. I'll get it for you. I'll send you the video also.
I used to have that verse,
Yeah.
But I don't know why. I'm losing track. I need to get
as a man looketh upon the water, so does a man sharpen or the content or brighten the countenance.
Yes, something like that.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I'll get you the exact verse. I'll send you away.
Yeah, something like that. Thank you very much.
My pleasure. All right, we'll catch up later then. I'll send you the video once I have it.
Okay, so thanks.
All right. God bless. We'll talk more later.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, take care. Yeah.